Yes, we are live, back in action, attacking your speakers from the field to the bleachers. This is the Power 32 podcast for the hour of power, more like an hour and 15 minutes of power. That's how we bring it to you, baby, with my main man, my dog, a home slice over here, Mr. Primetime 313. What's up, baby?
What's up, man? How's the weather down there?
Well, weather's all right, man. It's a little cool in the morning, like upper 40s, lower 50s, but then it gets to 70s during the day, and you guys just got it miserable up there in Detroit. I'm telling you, man, that's why I left that north. I can't stand that shit. It's too cold for too long, and you've been suffering, my friend, for like 2 damn weeks. I don't know what's in the air in freaking Detroit, man, but you've been sick for 2 weeks, and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's something in the air up here. I caught it like a couple Fridays ago, and it's like, yeah, it's going on like 2 full weeks, but I'm slowly but surely getting better. But today we step outside, man, it was like 40 degrees.
Oh, that's like summer for you.
Oh man, it was 40 degrees. It was like the best day we've had in like a month up here. So it was kind of refreshing, kind of, get a little bit of sun on you, get a little bit of not warm weather, but hell, when you go from like -3 all, for the last 3 weeks to 40 degrees, it kind of like, oh, okay. All right.
Well, hey, we say what's up, man. It's a real savage over here. Great
Savage,
to see
what
you,
up,
man.
though?
We're gonna cook, no doubt about it. And look at as far as the weather here, man. When it goes from 75 degrees and it drops down to 40, it feels really cold. It's just different.
Just stop that shit. You're talking, it's gonna warm up to.
I've adapted, man.
Stop,
I'm like a chameleon. I've adapted to my environment.
Because here's what's gonna happen. Because like in a month or two, when you guys start getting that typical Florida, the humidity, you're going to be complaining, I'm sitting here and I'm sweating my ass off, and I'm, changing shirts 5 times because the humidity is like 247%.
It's awful. It's awful.
Crazy.
There's no freaking doubt about it. I hate it. It sucks, but I'd rather sweat my ass off than freeze my ass off. One way or the other, the ass is coming off.
I'm kind of the opposite. I'd rather be a little cold. I've said it before a million times. I hate 85 degrees and 80% humidity. I hate it, man. Give me like 65, 70, maybe 75 with a slight little breeze, man. I'm good. I don't need all that. That's just too much.
Oh, I hear you, man. Look, I love the beautiful 75-degree days. Like you say, a little bit of a breeze going on. We get plenty of that in Florida. We just don't get all that crazy coldness. But I'm telling you, man, it was like 30 degrees one morning ago last week. And if there was any precipitation in the air, it would have snowed in South Florida. That's how cold it actually was. Below freezing. Well, everybody's out here for the weather, man. Let's talk some freaking football, all right? What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, Savage, real quick. I wonder how'd you do with your Super Bowl picks, man. He said, what did he say? It should be attacking your speakers from the field to the bleachers, and just like Zach Wilson. Oh my God, they're not going to let that Zach Wilson screw people's mother. They're not going to let that go. They're not going to let that go.
That one's going on forever. Real Savage, real brother of the show. There's no doubt about it.
Appreciate you, man.
As for my brother over here, Prime, we do NFL trivia every single week, man, every time. And I got one for you. It's Super Bowl related. And Kenneth Walker, it is related to him in a way. He's not the answer, obviously. But Kenneth Walker ran for 135 yards and was named Super Bowl MVP. Good for him. We'll talk about the Super Bowl in a little bit. What player now, listen carefully, what player has rushed for the most total yards in Super Bowl history? So one player rushed for the most yards in Super Bowl history, not in one game necessarily, but all time. So this player had to have played in multiple Super Bowls.
Oh man, because I was ready to throw Timmy Smith out there.
I knew that you were too good to know Timmy Smith. I knew that you were too good to know that for the Washington Redskins ran for over 200 yards, and
you never heard from him again.
Yeah, I know. Really
funny.
I knew you would know that one though.
Oh man.
This one's tough.
So
what player has the most total rushing yards in Super Bowl history?
That's crazy. I would almost go like Franco Harris, because I know he went to 4, but I'm not sure about the rushing stats.
Real Savage thinks it's Franco Harris.
It could be, but I'm gonna, as I usually talk myself out of it. I'm gonna go Terrell Davis.
That's a good one. Terrell Davis played in 2 back-to-back. He rushed for a lot of yards. His name MVP in 1. But damn it, go with your initial thought and your
Are you
boy
serious?
Savage over here.
Was
Yes,
it?
I am dead ass serious, bro. You had it right there and you
I
let
knew
it
it.
go.
Of
Franco
course.
Harris.
Of
Franco
course.
Harris is the answer. He has 354 career total rushing
It,
yards in the Super Bowl, went to 4 of them, and was named MVP of Super Bowl number 9, just for shits and
it
giggles.
makes sense. And for those of you who are kind of new to the show or whatever, there's been countless trivia questions. I won't say countless because I usually get them right more than I don't, but
That's true.
my percentage could be a lot better. Prophet can attest to this, and some of the veterans of the show can attest to how many times
Yeah, how many times he got cut out? We'll bring him back in a second. How many times that he's got the answer right and then talked himself out of it? So he's done really well with the NFL trivia, and I know that he's got one for me. He'll be bouncing back in a second. Little technical difficulty over there, but we're gonna break down the Super Bowl. Not too much because it was a boring fucking game, and God, I can get him. We're gonna get into that. How boring, awful, disgusting game it was. A 9-0 at halftime. Give me a freaking break. Who the hell wants to talk about that for too long? But, we're here. We're going to talk about it. But we got other things like quarterbacks on the move, head coaches. We're going to go through a few quarterbacks and see where they may end up playing in 2026. We got Max Crosby to talk about next season, even looking forward to that. So we got a lot to get to. Waiting for Prime to get back in here. But yeah, starting with that Super Bowl, man. Oh my God, that game was so boring. I would rather have taken my SATs again. I mean, I would have rather have had the flu. I would have rather watched a 10-year-old do jumping jacks. I mean, it was just godforsaken, absolutely awful. It was bring Prime back into the conversation over. I don't know what technical difficulty
I X myself out of the just like I talked myself out of the correct answer. I X myself out of the studio here. So yeah,
Real Savage agreeing with me. I don't know if you heard, but I've just been bashing the Super Bowl, how disgustingly boring and awful it was. He says worst Super Bowl he's ever seen. It was so bad.
I don't know that bad. There's a Super Bowl that's related to a trivia question that I got for you in a little bit that was kind of boring as well. But you know who doesn't think that the Super Bowl was crap and doesn't think it was boring is the fans of the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
And the Patriots. Props to the Patriots.
Props to the defense. They played a good game.
They actually did. And that defense did about as much as you can ask, holding them to initially 5 field goals. The floodgates kind of opened in the fourth quarter when Drake May started turning the ball over. But that defense did about all they could, man. And they held Sam Darnold to 202 yards. Jackson Smith and Jigma was not even the enigma that we thought it would be.
Well done.
It turned into a slugfest, and props to New England. But as we go deeper into the show, there's a couple of things that I think that were key in the Super Bowl that kind of prevented New England from really being able to make that more of a game than it actually was. So, but yeah, it wasn't the most exciting Super Bowl, but. If you're a fan of either team, especially the Seahawks right now, their parade, by the way, is Wednesday. For all those who want to travel out to Seattle, the Great Northwest, to check out that Super Bowl, I'll be on the first thing smoking. Probably not.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can count me out of that freaking parade. That's Seattle. One of my least favorite teams in all of sports is the Seattle Seahawks for obvious reasons. Just look at my gear and my jersey and all the stuff that I have and the cup that I'm drinking out of today. Yes, 49ers all
That's
the way.
That's a big-ass cup. Or is it just because you're holding it to the camera?
Maybe
hold that back up.
I think it's an optical illusion.
Hold that back up.
Let's see if I hold it back.
Oh, okay. It's okay. It's normal size. Initially, it looked like you were drinking like out of one of those 40-ounce Stanley. Can we just stop with the Stanley Cups, please? I see people walking around with these things, and they look like weapons. You don't know if it's like a Bluetooth boombox speaker or if it's something they drink out of, and there's let me drink out. My status. They become status symbols more than they become functional things to drink out of. But anyway,
that's how the world is now. That's how it's all about how we look. It's all about beauty. They even have this new show Ashton Kutcher is starring in it called The Beauty, and it's all about just being beautiful and all the way that we look at the world, the way we perceive the world. We want beauty. Anyway, it was not a beautiful Super Bowl like we mentioned. It made me sick. I had to get Robitussin from the medicine cabinet.
Oh, wow.
It was awful. It was awful. It made me sick. But Kenneth Walker, he ran, man. He ran like the school bully was chasing him, bro. He did a good job. and he definitely deserved MVP honors. I think he ran 27 times for 135 yards, caught a few balls, almost had another touchdown that got called back, which would have put the game over for me, which would have made me happy, but it didn't. The game didn't go over, and called that one back. Didn't have to call it back. Just let him score the freaking touchdown. Solid MVP performance right there by Kenneth Walker.
But actually, didn't you take the under? Didn't you? Your prediction was 24-20.
Originally, I did, and then I decided, I'm like, you know what? I think I started thinking about you and what you said, and that if any team is going to win big, it's going to be Seattle, and it turned out to be that way.
Yeah, it wasn't the way that I thought it was going to be. Props to Will Campbell. You know, you talk. Will Campbell reminds me of like Eric Flowers and some of the not so great offensive linemen, especially at the tackle position that the New York Giants have had over the years. Absolutely abysmal. Ed Jones and that defensive line of the Seattle, they were able to do it really without, you know, Weatherspoon had his pressures. You know, they brought some pressures, but they were primarily able to do that, man, with their front four, and that's embarrassing, especially
when they did
Mike
blitz.
Vrabel coach team.
When they did blitz, they blitzed really well.
Oh my God.
Devin Witherspoon was doing the blitz, and they were bringing guys from all over the place, whether it be even Julian Love at a time, but the linebackers getting in there and Ernest Jones. But yeah, predominantly, they were getting it with four. But when they did blitz, the plays were dialed up perfectly. Mike McDonald had everything going. They were out coaching the Patriots, it seemed like, the entire way, man. And these guys, I mean, they ripped up Drake May. Drake May, I don't know, Sam Darnold may have sent them ghost over to Drake May because I think that he was freaking out a little bit back then.
Yeah, that was one of the things I think that impressed me the most as Savage chimes in and said Vrabel just announced Will Campbell staying. Yeah, I heard that. He's staying at left tackle. That is kind of wild.
Yeah, well, look, he's number 4 overall draft pick.
Yeah, you're not going to give up on him. That's, you know, soon. But the way that the Seattle defensive line was just pushing, how many sacks and pressures did you see where they were basically just pushing the offensive lineman into the quarterback?
It felt like every other play.
But you know what? We talked about it, though, last week, and we talked about how it would be a problem because the Patriots going into that game had already given up 15 sacks in the playoffs. They gave up 21 total sacks in the playoffs in the Super Bowl. That's ridiculous. You're not going to win that way. I don't care how good your quarterback is or how good your receivers and skill positions are. You're not going to win. And the Patriots simply couldn't move the ball. They couldn't get Stevenson going. They couldn't get Henderson going. They
57 yards in the first
crazy.
half.
That's crazy.
What, are you kidding me? I don't care who you're playing. That's embarrassing.
It is. And that's just turned out
completely and totally embarrassing. Drake May looked shook out there, brother. He
did.
He looked bad. He was not making the right plays. He wasn't making the right reads. He wasn't accurate until the fourth quarter. They didn't score a point until the fourth quarter. It was bad news. And then Mike Vrabel, he's a really great coach, but somebody's got to teach him math. I don't understand. It was 19-0. Yeah, I could say the game is over, but you go for 2 there because then that puts you behind 2 scores, not 3 scores. It would be 19-8, not 19-7. So that was an awful call in itself. But all around, it seemed like the Patriots were the JV and Seattle was the varsity, man, and that's how they played that game. I'm surprised it was only 9-0 at halftime.
That game, a couple of heres and theres, that game could have been like 24-0 at halftime. So
easily.
New England actually dodged a bullet, and again, we mentioned it earlier. You give credit to the Patriots defense for doing everything that they could to keep them in the game. And when your offense has 57 total yards in the first half, and you're only down 9-0, that's a testament to their defense. But what bothers me the most, and I was actually going to say this for Big Deal or No Deal, but I'm going to just ask you now. Everybody raves about how much of a great offensive coordinator that Josh McDaniels is. I didn't see any, I'm not Tom Brady or, anybody like that by any stretch of the imagination. But what I saw was the same thing. It looked like Groundhog Day. I saw the same thing over and over. Seattle was running the same pressures, the same defensive scheme over and over and over. And what I didn't see were the adjustments from Josh McDaniels to maybe start rolling May out of the pocket, giving him some type of breathing room to where he could start check down, throwing the ball downfield or looking for his outlets or something like that. So did you see the same thing, or is that just me?
It looked like Josh McDaniels prepared for one game and then they played another game. Okay, so he was not ready for what Seattle threw at him in that game. He was expecting 4 guys down at the line and 7 guys backing up with their eyes on the quarterback, and he was going to try to pick him to death in cover 2, cover 4 zones. That's not what happened. Seattle played hybrid defenses all throughout the game. Like you said, they kept bringing guys up to the line, whether they would rush or whether they would drop back. They played absolutely freaking awesome defense. It was really a sight to behold, man. And yeah, look, they made Drake May look like a sophomore quarterback. They absolutely did. As we say, what's up to McNiners in the house over here?
Look at the point.
Good fellas.
Look at the
Arnold
point
won a
he
Super
makes.
Bowl before Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable that is the case.
And
they're people on TikTok ripping.
Right.
Sam Darnold's a top 10 quarterback.
Well, statistically, I mean, yeah. Josh Rosen. Isn't that funny? Because those 2 guys were the most heralded guys coming out of that draft, him and Sam Darnold. Josh Rosen lasted for a couple packs of cigarettes and a bag of Doritos before they moved on from him. You know what? And that fact, though, that's a funny fact that he won a Super Bowl before Josh Allen, Baker, Jared. You could throw Jared Goff in there. You could, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott. You can throw a couple other guys in there.
Throw a lot of guys in there, man,
for Super Bowls. But you know what? Kudos to Sam Darnold for not. I thought he'd probably end up the MVP, but the way the game went, obviously that didn't happen. But
he didn't really see that's the thing. He didn't really play that great of a game.
But he didn't have to. He really didn't have to. That was typical.
He didn't. And you're right. He didn't have to, but he still threw the ball a ton, and he wasn't accurate a lot. I mean, It wasn't the most awful thing I've ever seen in my life, but if it came down to him needing to play a really good game, if the Patriots defense could play, I mean, they played a really remarkable game as it was, but the offense couldn't score. So I don't know. I mean, it's just that Seattle, look, they only had 9 points at halftime, and they were in total, complete domination of that game. Time of possession, everything. So they should have been up by a lot more. And Sam Darnold is the one big reason why they weren't. Yeah, I attribute a lot to it to the Patriots defense, but Sam did not play his best game in the Super Bowl, and his defense really bailed him out.
Yeah, I think they, as much as we talk about how the Seattle defense was swarming, the Patriots defense, they went in with a nice game plan because Sam Darnold, they never gave him the opportunity to get comfortable. So for as erratic as Drake May was and under pressure as Drake May was, Sam Darnold was dodging bullets all night too. And the one play that I think would have really broke that game open was the one where he's rolling, I think, to his right or left, and he missed JSN by like 3 yards. JSN was wide open. He had gotten behind the defense. They probably thought he was going to get sacked or something like that.
Yeah.
And he just missed that right there. Probably would have blown that game open earlier. But Sam Darnold definitely did not have the game that we thought he would. However, at the end of the day, you still have to say Super Bowl winning quarterback Sam Darnold. And to Niners' point, he won it before a lot of the other guys in the league that we thought would be winning Super Bowls by now. So props to the redhead. He's not the Red Rocket because that's Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton has that,
red rifle.
Right. But props to Sam Darnold, props to the Seahawks, man. And is this a dynasty? Probably not. This might be a one-off, but
let's not get crazy.
Minnesota's probably kicking themselves in the ass. And like we mentioned last week, it cost the general manager by proxy, it cost the general manager his job in Minnesota. So
yeah. Got a little argument over here with Jalen Hurts. McNiners saying that he got carried by the defense, and Real Savage saying no. Jalen played 8+ games in both games. I would tend to agree with Savage on that one. Hurts played fantastic, no doubt about it, in both games, and was named the MVP in one, and would have won MVP in the other one, as a matter of fact, because he probably even outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Let's not get too off course over here. Staying with it. Yeah, again, look, if they could have put together any sort of offense, and I do blame part of it on Josh McDaniel, but I put a lot of blame on that left side of that line. Yeah, look, Will Campbell, it looked like he was doing like the electric slide or something like that. He just like, yeah, come over here, go over there, go over whichever way you want, just run the hell around me. But Seattle blitzed more than they usually did. Again, the Patriots held to 51, 57 yards, whatever it was. They played a good game on defense, but Vrabel didn't make any decisions either in order to alter what they were doing. And, nothing going over to McDaniels saying, hey, maybe we need to run the ball outside a little bit more. Maybe we need to do more hitch plays and just try to get 3 or 4 yards at a time and try not to take a deep shot, whatever it is. I don't know. But for all it was, man, Seattle turned out to be the better team. And that's all you can really say about it. They're the better team, the better players, and they coached the game better. And the one thing that didn't come into play that I thought would was special teams. That really was a non-factor, except the punters actually playing well.
Yeah.
Punters too.
Well, and the field goal kicker. But,
right.
I think.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Myers, you got to give him credit.
He should have probably been
everything. He kicked the shit out of the ball. You're right.
But I think that Seattle went into that game saying, you know what? We're not afraid of Drake May. We're not afraid of Stephon Diggs. We're not afraid of Hunter Henry. If Drake May is going to have to beat us, or we're going to beat the crap out of him. So they went into that game thinking, you know what? We'll take our chances with Drake May and his sore shoulder and his lack of really true weapons for all the yards that he's thrown. They really don't, they're still not, they were second or third in the league offensively. But for some reason, they still didn't come across to me as like an offense that you feared. And Seattle went in and they absolutely played that way. And they say, you know what, Drake beat us, and he couldn't. And like you say, that left side, I like the electric slide reference. That's what
it looked like.
That definitely wasn't Jonathan Ogden and Will Rofe over there by any stretch of the imagination. So.
No. That is faux cheesy. Absolutely not. No, wasn't. Yeah, May looked bad. Do we blame it more on him? Blame it more on Josh McDaniels? Or do we just say Seattle's defense was that good? Put it all in the bag, whatever it is, you get the big victory. What was it, 29-13 was the final score, and that wasn't even that close. It really wasn't. But here's some weird talk coming out of the game. I'm hearing people saying that Cooper Kupp should be a Hall of Famer. This blows my mind right now. What wide receiver do we talk about that's won 2 Super Bowls and now is like an automatic Hall of Famer? You know that he's only gone over 1,000 yards twice in his whole career? Cooper Kupp, for as great as we think that he is, and yes, he had the Triple Crown back in, 4 years ago when they played in the Super Bowl against Cincinnati, and he did win MVP of that game. Amazing, but only broke 1,000 yards twice in a 9-year career, bro. So, Hall of Fame, no freaking shot.
I'll just say it, and you're probably gonna laugh. If Eli Manning isn't a Hall of Famer in a lot of people's minds, then Cooper Kupp's not a Hall of Famer either. I don't. The amount of Super Bowls. I mean, when you look at the NBA, you're an NBA guy. Robert Ory's got 7 rings.
Yeah,
John Sally's got 5 rings. I mean, do you consider those guys Hall of Famers? You're just the beneficiary sometimes. I like Cooper Kupp, but I think he's always been a complimentary piece. It's not like when you game. Well, I take that back. Some years during his career, you kind of game. He had a
2.5 to 3 year run, but it was really short. And people start to think about him like he's been this unbelievable wide receiver in the league for the past 9 years. And no, he hasn't. He has not. And I'm not saying that he's a bad receiver, but he's definitely fallen off from his MVP performance in his Triple Crown years. So a Hall of Famer, let's get real. I mean, if he goes to another team and wins a Super Bowl and is a factor in it, then we'll start talking. That would be freaking amazing. But just because he's a wide receiver who won 2 rings doesn't make you a freaking Hall of Famer. That's insane.
I think he's just a likable guy, and a lot of people people like Cooper Kupp. So they kind of prop him up maybe a little bit more than they should. As McNiner says, there's around 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the league that can carry their team, honestly, but even they can't do it. And I'm glad you said that, McNiner, because let's just look at your great 49er teams early in the 80s. There were Hall of Famers. There was like 75 Hall of Famers on that team. Troy Aikman's teams, there was about 75 Hall of Famers on that team. So every Super Bowl winning quarterback, other than, Tom Brady.
Not everyone.
But most of them had really, really good teams around them. You either had a really good defense like Trent Dilfer did with the Ravens, or you had a really good offense like, the Broncos even, once Terrell Davis came into the mix. But most quarterbacks have most Super Bowl winning quarterback. Look at Terry Bradshaw. Every guy on that squad, and even like the Water Boys in the Hall of Fame. So it's not like
no
there's
doubt.
guys out here that are just, it's Josh Allen, me, you, McNiner, and Savage, and then it went to the Super Bowl. That doesn't happen that often. It really doesn't.
No, of course not. It really doesn't. We have flukes out there. We know it happens sometimes, like Tampa Bay in 2002, I think it was, when Brad Johnson was the quarterback, and they were great for 1 year and then they disappeared. That was pretty much it. 2 years. They had a couple-year run, but whatever. I mean, yeah. So can't get carried away with stuff like that. But to kind of close this out, because there's really not much to break down. Really, again, not an exciting game. Very much on the boring side, but the Seahawks are going to open up next year, as the defending champions usually do. Who do you think they should play?
Who, as far as if they go to the Super Bowl again?
No. I mean, to open up the year, like the Hall of Fame, I don't know what they call it, the Hall of Fame. The first game of the season, the first Thursday night game of the year.
Play. They should probably, it'll probably be a division opponent. It'll probably be like the Rams or your Niners.
Rams. Yeah. I was thinking Rams or Bears, maybe. The Bears would be a good one, but the Rams, I think, is likely.
And people want to make sure that they stick around for that in a couple months when the NFL releases their schedule, because that's going to be a great show in and of itself, as we break down and kind of do our win-loss totals for the upcoming year and stuff like that. But speaking of which, before we get to big deal or no deal, I actually have, and I want the chat's opinion, but I want yours as well. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's do our way, way, way too early Super. We're not going to break the playoffs down and all that. Just your all for fun, your way, way too early Super Bowl predictions for next year. You get three. So chat, feel free to chime in on this as well. But you get 3 Super Bowl predictions that are way, way too early going into next season.
Wow, 3 Super Bowl predictions. All right. I'm going to have to take a look at the teams over here, but I got a couple in mind that I was thinking of. I like Mike McDaniel going to the Chargers, man. I think that they have a really good chance of getting there. And I think that, they're going to get Joe Alt back. They're going to get Rashad. Oh, my God.
Slater?
Thank you. Yes, Slater. My goodness. God. Yeah, Slater back. So both of those guys back at left tackle and right tackle healthy. Mike McDaniel coming in, getting the best out of Justin Herbert. I think you got to watch out for them. In the NFC, watch out for the Bears. Watch out, man. They got another year under. They're going to bulk up their defense a little bit more. This is a team that's definitely going to be in the mix, man. Both those teams, I have no doubt, are playoff teams. They have really good coaches and they go beyond that. But when I start thinking about teams that could really be in it for the mix next year, I think about the Chargers, because I know they're going to add a weapon on offense. They definitely have to. That's got to be a top priority, whether it's in the draft or they get A.J. Brown or something like that. They're going to have to go after somebody. And the Bears, they're stacked. If they get a couple of more players on defense, maybe another edge rusher, that could be a player they can really use. They can use an edge rusher, and maybe somebody in the secondary. Watch out for the Bears. That's a possibility. So those are my 2 teams, Chargers and Chicago.
Wow. So as Savage chimes in, he says Eagles, Chiefs 3. Oh my God, please say no.
Oh yeah, I don't want to see that.
Eagles, Bills, and Eagles, Ravens. So I'm sensing that he's wanting the Eagles to go back to the Super Bowl next year. So Eagles, Ravens that'd be kind of a good Super Bowl, actually. Eagles, Bills.
Sure would.
I don't want to see though. I don't want to see
McNiners. McKnight, are you saying Rams Niners week 1 is in Australia?
I think that's already.
It's probably a Friday game.
I think that's already, but I think that game, to Niners' point, I think that game is etched in stone. They are sending teams Australia, and I think it is the Niners and the Rams. I just don't know when.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, that'd be the shortest flight, from, the LA area, to Australia. It still might take 3.5 days to get there, but, go ahead and go play a game. That's why you do it in the beginning of the season. It's going to take you a month to get there.
Hey, will the NFL ever put a team in Hawaii?
Oh, never.
Never?
That's
you
too
don't
much
think
travel.
So?
I think that's too much. I think they would put a team, even though it's still the same amount of travel, they probably put a team in London before they do in Hawaii.
Yeah.
That wouldn't shock me.
Because
but yeah.
So let's see. So my
Medina
three,
likes my Chargers pick. He thinks that they'll win the AFC West next
you
year.
know what?
Deserves.
I've picked them the last 2 years to win the AFC West, and they've let me down. But to your point,
Yeah.
if they get another offensive weapon, they got their 2 All Pro Bowl offensive linemen coming back. So, and
Mhm.
Mike McDaniel. Let's not forget, like you mentioned, that's going to be very, very important. People are going to see how much of a difference that makes. But my 3 Super Bowl way too early predictions. I got Lions Broncos. I got Rams and Bills, and I got Bears and Ravens.
Okay.
I got the
What was the
Bears
one?
and-
Who were the Bills against?
I got Lions, Broncos, Rams, Bills. I'm still giving Matthew Stafford one more shot, and then the Bears and the Ravens for my 3 way
All
too early Super Bowl predictions.
Rams, Bills. Okay. If I had to think of
Alaska.
another one at the AFC, I mean, Denver a possibility. I don't see Jacksonville doing it. CJ Stroud, he's got to get his stuff together. Yeah, Buffalo would definitely be one team I'm looking out for because I think that they're going to make some off-season moves, maybe get another maybe get a big-time receiver. You know, Brandon Cooks did a decent job this year, not too bad. In the NFC, yeah, I think the Eagles are a team. It's like, you know, it's every other year with them, so watch out. They may do it this year. I'm not going to put stock in the Packers. The Lions, they worry me a little bit. I don't love the NFC South, but the Rams and the Seahawks and the 49ers are all kind of up there. But yeah, I don't know, man. For Chicago, I think they're just going to get better. I think they're a team you really got to watch out for next year.
Yeah, I was kind of high on the Bears on the down low this year too. So, but yeah, I just wanted to have a little bit of fun, see kind of where.
Yeah, why not? Mess around a little bit.
Yeah.
So what do we got? Big deal, no deal?
Yeah, we got Big Deal, No Deal, sponsored by the Power 32 podcast. This is the segment of the show where I present several scenarios to the prophet, and the prophet tells us whether they are a big deal or no deal. And let's start off with something that we talked about a little bit earlier.
We got today.
Let's start off with something that was a very polarizing subject on Super Bowl Sunday, and you probably don't have an opinion about it either way, but I just want to see kind of what you think. The Bad Bunny halftime show was that a big deal or no deal? That it was all Hispanic. You couldn't understand anything he said. It was all his hits. Now keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this guy has a worldwide following like you wouldn't believe. But is it a big deal or no deal that this was a prime? There was a purpose. You know, Roger Goodell and them had a purpose for this to allow this.
Of course.
But was it a big deal or no deal in your opinion that this was a non-American performer who performed nothing in the English language? And I'm just curious to get your take on it.
It was without a doubt a big deal because the NFL, their number one thing that they want to do is expand, and they want to be global. They don't want to just be obviously in the United States because we know that they have, I think, 10 games scheduled outside the U.S. next year.
Mm-hmm.
They want to go to as many countries that will invite them. And obviously the nicest cities out there are going to be the ones that get to play because there's a lot of bids, but only certain stadiums can hold a certain amount of people and everything like that. But It's a huge deal to get back to your question because just him speaking that language alone, Spanish, which millions and millions and millions of people understand. And our neighbors to the south, South America, predominantly speak that language. You're going to have more games in Brazil. Maybe you'll have a game in Chile. Maybe you'll have a game in Venezuela. I'm naming countries out here, Argentina, whatever it may be. So there could be a lot more games, and that's what you want to appeal to. You go back to Mexico, the NFL plays games in Mexico. So I think without a doubt, it's definitely a big deal because they were appealing to the masses right there. They know they got America by the balls. They got North America by the balls. Football is going nowhere for the fans here in this country. They want to make sure they get the other countries as well. And the Niners, coming into your question real quick, over you're saying that the NFL is trying hard to be all out diversity. I don't mind it. No, I don't mind it at all either. Like, everybody should enjoy the game. It's the greatest game in the freaking world.
Yeah, and to Niners' point as well, the NFL eventually is trying to get it to where every team goes over at least once a year. So that's ultimately their goal. They're already shooting down the 18-game season, but they're trying to work out the logistics to where every team goes overseas at least once a year. So that's going to be very, very interesting. But yeah, to your point, it's a global thing now. It's not just about us. We have the United States on lockdown when it comes to the popularity of the NFL. So it's time to take it. They tried NFL Europe, didn't work. So maybe we'll just take the real players and just put them, strategically a few times a year, like you say, as many as 10 games potentially overseas. So yeah, that's going to be, and I'm actually looking forward to it. I like the crowds. If you're a wrestling fan and you see how wrestling does overseas, they love American sports. So, but yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. So, question number 2. This ties into the trivia question. So I'm going to give you the trivia question after I make this next point. So,
okay, don't give the trivia question away.
No, Kenneth Walker was the MVP. We alluded to it a little bit earlier. Is that a big deal or no deal for a guy that didn't score any touchdowns? For him to be MVP, do you think he deserved it? Or you think he probably should have went to the kicker?
No, I'm totally fine with that because it takes Kenneth Walker to get the kicker in position to kick the field goal, and I understand that's a hard thing to do. But my God, if they ever name a kicker an MVP,
unless man, at least once, come on.
Unless
how many Super Bowl MVPs would Adam Vinatieri have?
Prime. Unless he kicks a 65-yard field goal with no time left on the clock
against the wind in a snowstorm.
That's a different story.
Come on, man. Give us one.
Even though a kicker did win MVP one year in 1982, a kicker won. I think it was for Washington.
Yeah, Mark Mosley with the single there.
Guy won the MVP of the NFL. Absolutely.
Go Kickers.
You got me so now I lost my train of thought.
Let's present a little scenario. So a lot of people bash kickers, but here's the thing. A kicker, a player can't kick a 35, 40-yard field goal, but a kicker can throw the ball for 35, 40 yards. So kickers are very important. Kickers are more athletic than people think. And I know just by the look on your face, you're ready to kind of rip me a little bit. But it's just funny that kickers get such a bad rap, but they're so valuable to the game. They really are.
Well,
people don't like it.
I think they're more valuable than a lot of the coaches in the NFL think their value is because they go for it on 4th and 2 and 4th and 7 and 4th and freaking 50 all the damn time. It makes me freaking sick. I want to throw up. I can't stand it.
50.
So I value the kickers. There's no doubt about it. But to answer your question, Kenneth Walker, man, he was the dominant player in that game. I know that what's-his-face Myers kicked, 4 or 5 field goals?
5 field goals.
Yeah, set an NFL record, 5 field goals. It would have been weird. Look, if nobody else on offense had really stood out to do anything, then okay. Then I would just be like, you know what? Nobody did anything, but Kenneth Walker did enough, in my opinion, to win MVP.
All right.
I'm cool with that.
All right. So
that touchdown away.
My pushing my lobbying for the kickers to be MVP will have to wait another year.
Not 1982 anymore, bro.
Absolutely not. So let's go to another thing that's kind of near and dear to a lot of people's heart: the cost of the freaking Super Bowl, to go to the Super Bowl. So last year I was doing a little bit of research. Last year there was, I forgot what champagne it was, but it's something that you can buy at your local liquor store for like $200 a bottle. Vegas was charging $10,000 for that with bottle service. The average cost for a family to go to a Super Bowl this year was $8,000. That's just 2 people. That's not a family of 4. $8,000 when you take in flight and tickets is actually $9,000 when you take in flight and tickets, and that's not even before you get to merch. They were charging $200 for 12-inch square Detroit-style pizzas. They were charging $225 for chicken.
Oh my God.
They were charging $75 for a flight of different sodas, not liquors or your favorite adult beverage, sodas.
Sad.
And the burger that was $150, and it was more like a slider, Savage. It wasn't even like full burger size for like a guy my size would really get into. So is it a big deal or no deal that they have basically priced you and me out of the Super Bowl, and it's become such a corporate event? And this is one of the reasons I think you get the golf claps instead of the rah-rah, because the guys like you and I that would go there and cheer our asses off for our favorite team, we're priced out, and it's now all these corporate snobs who spend 90% of their time on their phone texting people, telling them where they are instead of actually enjoying the game. Do you think that's a big deal or no deal?
There's no deal, man. That we're not going anywhere. They know that. We're NFL fans. We're actually the ones who pump more money into the NFL than these rich people do per capita because we're buying all the material, all the memorabilia, all that great stuff. We're the ones buying tickets to the seats, season tickets, spending all this money, some of PSLs and whatnot, not to get into all that sort of stuff in the way that it works. But no, you and I are not going anywhere. We're diehard NFL fans, and we're going to be as long as we're allowed to, as God lets us be on this earth. So we're not going anywhere. And they want to cater that to the rich. Yeah, go ahead. Let them make as much money as they possibly want. It's for a small amount of people. It's a small group of people. And it doesn't skew the line enough to where it's going to cause a problem. All right. So the richies can have their day and get their jollies on and all that stuff. But the diehards are always going to be there. We're not walking away from the game unless something crazy happens. And I can't even concoct the notion right now of what that may be.
So it's okay for guys like your family and my family and Savage's family and Niners family and all of our other people and all the Simons on. So we carry the load throughout the season. And it used to be the tickets that cost $200 2 years ago are like $700 now. So the Lions have just absolutely gone through the roof with their ticket prices. So the Giants. So we carry the load all the way. And then now the biggest game of the season, you and I are totally priced out. We got to take second mortgages and give blood in order to get one ticket to go to the Super Bowl. And as we noted, just the price of the food, jerseys were going for like $700, bro.
Yeah, man. Because you know why?
That's ridiculous.
How
much is
care.
I understand that, but when is enough enough? When is enough?
Look, enough
is enough. It used to be because when you were growing up as a Niners fan, when you watched all the great Montana teams and all those guys, and I watched all my great Giant teams, it was still affordable for you and I to go to a Super Bowl if we so choose, if our parents allowed it. Now you have to. It's like, okay, babe, do we save up $10,000 to go to the Super Bowl, or do we save up $10,000 for our trip to Italy?
It's also this.
It's like, come on, man.
It's money, man, and they've now from what it used to cost to put on a Super Bowl. Now it is quadrillion times the amount of money it was 25, 35 years ago to put on a Super Bowl, to put on the Fiesta, to put on everything from pregame to postgame. It costs them so much money that they know they need to profit off of this. And how are they going to do it? The rich people who want to come to the game and want to be seen and want to say, I was there, and mingle with the players and mingle with the other Hollywood stars or whoever it is. But these rich people are the ones, and that's how they get it. And again, they know, bro, we ain't going nowhere. We're diehard NFL fans. And if we want to go to the Super Bowl, we have to know somebody who's got tickets. There are a few lucky ones out there that get it. But other than that, you're right, man. It costs a ton of freaking money, but that's why they do it.
It shouldn't. And we'll close out on that. But I'm just saying it should. And you're right about the diehard thing, but it shouldn't cost you 12%, 10, 12, 15% of your annual salary to go to a football game, to the biggest football game. But
I agree.
But like you say, we're not going anywhere. It's a money grab, and I get it, but it still sucks. So anyway, that's big deal or no deal. Thank you very much. I want to get to the NFL trivia question that I have for you. So speaking of Kenneth Walker, Savage, this is probably for you too, but Prophet, this is for you. So Kenneth Walker won the MVP of the Super Bowl without scoring a touchdown. Who was the last player in Super Bowl history, the most recent player other than Kenneth Walker to win Super Bowl MVP without scoring a touchdown?
Without scoring a touchdown, Super Bowl MVP without scoring a touchdown, the most recent one. It's a hell of a question. Super Bowl MVP without scoring a touchdown.
It's not that far back.
All right.
I'll give you it's a 10-ish year window.
Could it be? I'm trying to remember who was the MVP. No, he wasn't the MVP of that Super Bowl. was the damn MVP of that Super Bowl. I thought that was him. You know,
And this was a boring Super Bowl too, by the way. But because of who was in it, people will never say it was boring.
okay, it's an interesting hint right there. So, the last MVP to not score a touchdown. God, I'm just trying to think of like the last MVP.
Savage has his opinion.
That's who I was going to say, but I didn't think that he won the MVP of that one. That would be the game against Atlanta. So
no, actually,
no. You know what? Julian Edelman was the MVP when they played the Rams. Right?
Yes, he was.
When that was 13-3, the game.
13-3. He had like 10 catches for 140 yards, and he did not score a touchdown. Yeah, he definitely. Savage, you're correct. Prophet, you're correct. So ding, ding, ding.
Nice. Good job, Savage. I give you props on that because Julian Edelman was in my head. I'm like, did he win an MVP in that time? Because I knew that Brady, he had won 5. So there was a couple extra ones out there. I'm like, which one's won? And then I went back to Deion Branch.
13-3.
13-3. That was the worst Super Bowl to watch.
No, people didn't even bring that one up. And all Michael Strahan's and all the talking heads where they, NFL Live, where they got 75 people around the table. Nobody brought that one up. Because it was Tom Brady, of course. But yeah, Julian Edelman won the 2019 Super Bowl 53. 10 catches, I think, 141 yards, and 0 touchdowns.
Yeah, that was the second time the Rams and the Patriots had played. We could have seen it again this year, but the Rams decided that they're not going to go ahead and win it, and Seattle did, and now they are champions of the freaking world. So good for them. Good question right there. All right, I like it. All right, I got a few for you over here. Where should Max Crosby go? It seems like he does not want to play on the Raiders. The Raiders, I want to talk about them a little bit. I mean, the Raiders, they're setting up for the future over here. They got the new head coach coming in, Clint Kubiak. They announced him today. You got players like Bowers and Genty. You got the number 1 overall pick. You're going to have a lot of draft picks this year. They're in a tough division, no doubt about it. But I think that they have tools to build upon, especially if Clint Kubiak turns out to be a really good head coach. But going back to Max Crosby, where do you think he can end up this year? Because I think that he's asking out from the Raiders, and it's going to cost a lot to get him. But a team will fork over a few first-round picks for him, no doubt about it.
If a certain team that resides in a certain city with a certain area code of 313 decides to get his head out of his ass and realize that the window is closing very more rapidly than he thinks, he would be on the phone with the Raiders right now, who, by the way, to your point, have like 80 million, something, 90 million, something like that in cap space. So like you said, not only they have picks, coach, first round pick, Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, building for the future. They got tons of cap space as well. But I think I would like to see him end up in Detroit. I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, but he could end up. He'll probably end up somewhere like the Bears, which, if that's the case, you can close the book on the Lions.
I put the Bears on the list too, man.
And maybe even a team that's probably a little bit more unexpected, like the Bills, who could use some pass rush help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or, and this is a shot in the dark, as if they need any more guys on their defensive line, that would be the Philadelphia
Eagles. Let me tell you something right now. Me and you are incredibly in sync. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let me tell you the things I listed down. Lions, Niners, Bears, Panthers, Eagles, and then I even said the Bucks would be a possibility. I'm not exactly sure about that one, but the same exact teams, man, unbelievable. Yeah, I think Philadelphia, I don't know how they would pull it off, but they seem like a team that would be able to pull it off and get Max Crosby and just have a killer defensive line.
Because Howie Roseman knows what the hell he's doing. Howie Roseman is the general manager that everybody thinks Brad Holmes is. So, yeah, Jalen, if we lose Jalen Phillips, I feel like we're going after Myles Garrett. You can't get him because he just signed that $40 million a year deal. Locked in. But you can get Crosby. And, Savage, to your point, Trey Henderson's probably not off the table either.
Myles Garrett is fighting Jim Brown for the best Cleveland Brown of all time, man. I mean, he is really going after that.
That's not Brian Sykes. Bernie Kosar, Kevin Mack,
Bernie Kosar. Oh yeah, Bernie Kosar with that.
Frank Minifield and what was his tag team?
Good job.
Hanford Dixon and Frank Minifield. Come on, man.
Well done. Excellent.
Those are my guys.
Job right there.
Tag team champions.
Way to pull out the names, my brother. Freaking fantastic. I love it. I know that. Oh no, we'll get to that in a minute. All right, I want to run through a few quarterbacks real quick.
Okay.
With Jeff Hafley coming into the Miami Dolphins, do we think that Tua is out of there? And let me preface this by saying I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. $99 million against the cap if they let Tua go. So it's almost like you can't let him go. Maybe the best option is to have him sit. But who do you bring in, or do you play Tua? What do you think? What happens with him?
You're almost stuck with Tua, at least for this year.
Maybe.
I don't. Queen of yours is, as we've seen, he's probably not ready yet. But I think you're stuck with Tua just because of the money. You're not going to cut him and take that
so much money,
$90 million plus hit. You're just not going to do it. So you try to trade him, but that's going to be a very difficult situation because of his contract.
Yeah,
so
they're going to have to pay part of his contract.
They are, and they're going to have to pay a big chunk of his contract. So you're kind of stuck with Tua right now. And especially when you think about it, the preliminary talks, there's really no rumblings right now as to, hey, I heard that this team might be interested, this team might be interested. There's a few teams out there that would probably, that are looking for quarterbacks as we, kind of look into that.
Let's do that then. Let's do that right now. Let's take a look. I'm going to go every team. We're going to go real quick. Yes or no. And some are going to be obvious, but I'm going to name every team. Patriots.
No.
Bills.
No.
Dolphins, we're just talking about them. So that's a yes. Jets.
Yes. I could see.
All right. Steelers. We don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not sure. But I'm not sure he's a Pittsburgh kind of guy.
All right. We'll leave that out then. We'll say they don't have a quarterback problem right now that Aaron Rodgers is coming back. The Ravens, they got Lamar, so no. Bengals, do they have to worry about anything? They got Joe Burrow. Maybe if it depends on how much Joe Burrow rumbles this offseason. I could like I told you, I predicted him to be a Rams, but Matthew Stafford's staying, so it'll probably be the year after next. Right, man. We'll see. What about the Cleveland Browns? Do you consider them having a quarterback issue with Shedeur Sanders?
They absolutely have a quarterback issue, but it's not as desperate as people think. But I could see them, either him or Kyler.
All right, Jacksonville.
No.
Texans.
No, not yet.
Colts.
Nope. They're sticking with Daniel Jones.
All right, and the Titans.
No, I think they're going to roll with Cam Ward for another year, see what they got. New coach, not new coach, but they're gonna see what they got with him. They need to get some weapons around him and build and see. He hasn't gotten a fair shot yet.
Okay, no doubt. I'm with you. All right. Well, we got 3 teams so far. We're just about to close out the AFC with the Broncos. No. Chargers.
No. Raiders.
Chiefs.
No. Chiefs. No.
And Raiders, I guess we can say no because they're probably going to be looking at Fernando Mendoza as their quarterback. So I guess they really don't have a quarterback issue then. Okay, interesting. Let's go to the NFC. Eagles.
No.
Cowboys.
No.
Commanders.
No.
No, definitely not. They got Jaden Daniels. As long as he stays healthy, they're good. Giants, no. Bears, no.
No.
Packers, even though I don't love Jordan Love, no, they're going with him. Vikings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd say they have
especially if Justin Jefferson keeps talking, man, he just won't shut up.
Yeah,
he
you're
won't
right,
shut
man.
up.
Well, he should have a big voice in that locker room.
He should, absolutely.
Without a doubt. I mean, he is the Minnesota Vikings. There's no doubt. How about your Detroit Lions? You guys are good?
Yep, we're good.
Panthers.
60-40, yes. 60-40. I could see them moving on from Bryce Young for a Tua or a Kyler. I could see that.
Yeah, I don't see them giving him a big contract. It's going to be interesting to see what happens after this year. Really interesting. All right, how about the Bucs with Baker Mayfield?
Nope, they're going to roll with Baker until the wheels fall off.
Falcons with a banged-up Michael Penix, who's only 4-8 as a starter.
Well, speaking of hits, they still had to remember Kirk Cousins is still with them as well. They're going to try to do something with him in the offseason, but that's another $56 million cap hit if he's still around March. Actually, no, it's 56 guaranteed if he's around March 13th. So they're in a precarious situation, but nope, they're going to roll with Penix. They'll probably play Cousins until Penix gets healthy. So no issue there right now.
The Saints are going to roll with Tyler Shock again. We'll see what they get out of him this year. Yeah, they're going to roll with him. I can see
Kyler.
Draft a quarterback?
No. But I could see them maybe being in the mix for a trade with Kyler or Well, no, they can't with Tua because the Saints just don't have the money. They got the worst cap situation in the
And
NFL.
why would the Saints want to? I don't know why the Saints would even want to. Tyler Shough started playing. He almost won Rookie of the Year. He started playing well. I don't think that you want to screw that up to bring in either Kyler Murray or Tua Tagovailoa. If it was Jared Goff,
there's no market for those guys, man. There's really bad.
Man. Yeah, Kyler Murray costs a little bit less. I think he's only like 50. I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah, $54 million against the cap, and it could be even less than that. So Arizona won't take as big a hit, but they really need a quarterback. That's the team right there. Let's close it out with what we say. The Saints are good. I think at least, they're going to roll Tyler Shough out next year. There's no doubt. Seahawks are good. Rams are good. Niners are good. And the Cardinals. So I would say that there's about 5 teams that need a quarterback right now.
Malik Willis. Savage says Malik Willis is going to be one of those and I agree.
Yeah.
The Malik Willis hype is just. Have you been? I mean, man, the last few weeks of the season and then now the last couple of weeks talking heads. Malik Willis, the hype is real, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Look, Malik Willis is a good quarterback. He's not going to get you over the hump, so don't get crazy excited about it. But yeah, he can be the starting quarterback for one of these teams like Arizona, or maybe even the Jets. I don't know, something like that. That's possible. But where's Tua going to go? Is Rodgers going to come back? Where's Justin Fields going to end up? Is Joe Burrow going to stay with Cincinnati? Is Daniel Jones going to come back and look like the guy who was in the first half of the season? There's a lot of things out there that interest me, man. CJ Stroud, all right, let me ask you, CJ Stroud, he has another year like he had this year, which is just okay. Now you're at a point, he's going into his 4th season. You got to pay this guy. You got to keep him. And you're going to have to pay him a lot of money, most likely. What do? I mean, do you try to run it back with somebody else? Or do you say, all right, CJ, you're our guy, and we can pay you X amount of dollars? I mean, I don't know, man. Been to the playoffs every year, won a playoff game every year.
Yeah, but when rubber meets the road, eventually the playoffs, just getting to the playoffs and winning a game isn't enough. Just ask the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, they haven't won one in a while, but just, there's a lot of players that have won multiple games or a game in the playoffs or whatever, and it's not enough. They have not taken that next step. He has actually regressed. He's had flashes, 4 or 5 games where it's like, that's what we were expecting, but it's not the consistent body of work that everybody, he's still latching onto that rookie season.
I'm saying,
Houston has no choice. They have no choice to run it back with him because there's really, you don't have any other options out there. You're not going to go, what's his name? Davis Mills or whatever that, you're not going to do.
Mills,
You're not going to do that. So I agree, Savage. I would move off CJ Stroud, but can you? And speaking of, we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, CJ Stroud right now. You just can't. I'm sure your boy Damien or Mike Patton would probably agree with that too.
Yeah, you got to run it back with him. But I have my doubts about how good he can be and if he's going to be that type of quarterback that's going to take you over the top. Now, granted, he didn't really have that good of an offense. Let's be real about it. His run game was okay. He had pretty good offensive line. Nico Collins, when he wasn't on the field, it's a big difference. So you can say a lot about that. When he had his best receiver out there, they were a different offense. And Nico Collins did miss a lot of time, and he's going to continue to miss time. He's apparently one of those players who just is unfortunately going to get hurt year in and year out. So they thought by bringing in Christian Kirk a couple of years ago, wow, we got our second star over here. No, that really has not worked out. I think that he just caught his second pass in week 16. I mean, the guy really has not done anything.
Yeah,
what has our real Savage got for us over here? Prophet, do you think the 49ers ultimately hold on to Mac Jones or trade him? I think it's going to be too hard.
They're going to keep him. They're good. I think that there was already rumblings that he's staying.
They really, really, really want to keep him. But if they get a deal, like if somehow a first rounder is thrown in there, they're going to have to take it and go grab somebody else. But
a first rounder for Mac Jones?
No, it's probably not going to happen. But let's not forget, he was a first rounder at one point in his life. He was a first rounder. Now, I don't think that that's going to happen. But in order to get Mac Jones, I don't know what it would cost. But the 49ers, no, you're real Savage. They don't want to give him up.
But you know,
Yeah, and he agrees.
to contradict myself, if he because people are basing this off of what the performance when Brock Purdy was hurt. If
Sure.
he if there's a team out there like some of the teams we just mentioned that are looking for a quarterback, and really that first round pick, it's like, okay, is the first round pick that we give up, you know, is Mac Jones better than what we could get with that first round pick? I mean, there's always somebody that say, I can fix this guy, I can do this, F them picks, whatever the case. So you know what, I actually wouldn't be surprised if they got a first round, but 49ers are going to hang on to him as a piece just in case they need something, you know, as we get to the deadline or maybe even the off season, if somebody, you know, comes up, because we know the Niners get injured so much that maybe they're saving him for a piece. Maybe they can get a couple players. So,
well, Brock Purdy, he's no stranger to being injured either, and that's why Real Savage saying, you know, if he was a 49ers fan, that he'd be hoping to keep him, Mac Jones, that is, because of Purdy's injury history, and I'm totally with you on that one, man. I would love to keep him, but look, if we're going to get a first rounder thrown at us, which is possible, then it's going to be hard to deny that, especially if it's top tenor. And I don't know if a team is actually going to want to do that for Mac Jones, but we just went through 5 teams out there that need a quarterback. And the names that I've listed so far, like the Tuas and the Kyler Murrays and the Justin Fields and the Geno Smiths of the world, are they the guys that you really want out there? Or do you want Mac Jones? You know, like Mac Jones is probably going to be a starter, and a team is probably going to have to give up a first rounder for him because there are 5 teams out there that need a quarterback right now. And what are you going to do, man? The quarterbacks are in high demand. Mac Jones may have got himself a contract.
There you go. Mac Jones.
Mac Jones, one and only, can't hold me. I love it, baby. Oh, man. What else we got, Prime?
So we got a couple things I want to get to real quick. So what do you, and chat, feel free to chime in. So a couple of things you already mentioned, but what is one big thing that you're looking forward to going into next season?
One big thing I'm looking forward to. Go ahead. What do you got?
For me, it's of course it's the Giants and Harbaugh. I want to see how that plays out. I haven't looked forward to a Giants season like this in a long time. So I'm looking forward to, my one big thing is the Giants and how they're going to do. I'm going to watch every mini camp. I'm going to watch everything. They should do a Hard Knocks, but I'm looking forward to what the Giants are going to do with John Harbaugh.
All right, no doubt. You know what? I'm thinking about it. I want to see if the AFC South is what it was looking like it was and could be even better with Tennessee. We were talking about Tennessee. They got Cam Ward. Robert Saleh comes over there, so he's going to make the defense better. You know that. And if Cam Ward in his second year can start throwing the ball better and they bring in a few more pieces, let's see what happens. But they were the last place team. The Colts almost made it to the playoffs. If Daniel Jones comes back and he plays the way that he did in the first half of the season, watch out. Then you got the 2 teams that went to the playoffs in Jacksonville. Liam Cohen comes in, turns that team all the way the fuck around. Unbelievable job. They go to the playoffs. Don't get that far, obviously, but do what they had to do, played a tough game against Buffalo. And then you got who we were just talking about, CJ Stroud and that defense over there. Houston's defense is freaking amazing. And that's another one you don't want to waste. Like Seattle did not waste their defense. They won a championship with it. Houston, you have I don't know. I don't want to go crazy and say an all-time defense, but they have an unbelievable defense you don't want to waste. You got to make sure that you can score over 20 points a game because your defense is going to hold their opponents to under 20. So Houston is very interesting to me, what they do going forward, and even beyond this year with CJ Stroud. Big year for Stroud, man. This is a really, really big year for him. If he's going to ball out, he's got to do it this year.
So you're looking forward to. Now, keep in mind too, though, that the Colts could potentially be losing Alec Pierce, which is one of their big weapons. But yeah, but I can roll with that. I'm curious to see if Daniel Jones, if that division can end up like the AFC or the NFC West, where you got 3 teams really just battling, and all 3 of those teams maybe could end up making the playoffs. But yeah, so your big thing is AFC South. Mine is the looking forward to what the Giants.
Yeah, the New York Giants. That's a
So,
good one, man. I'm really looking forward to that too.
I
So
can't.
that,
I
but
can't
I
wait.
think another good story is, can the Seahawks do it again? Is Sam Darnold good enough to do this again and have another good season? Again, I don't want to go all Sam Darnold this again, but he did not have a great year. We have to remember this is really the defense that won this championship for him. Sam Darnold had led the league in turnovers, whether it was fumbles, interceptions.
But he had 0 in 4 playoff games.
Correct. Up until the Super Bowl, he was magnificent. And I know he didn't throw an interception in the Super Bowl. He didn't have the greatest game, but yes, he did have a good playoff run, no doubt about it. And he'll have to be remembered for that. If you're going to remember anything about Sam Darnold, this is what he did this year. And, shut the critics up. He really did for the most part. So I'll give him his props, man. I will. But will Seattle be able to do it again this year? What will the Patriots look like against a first-place schedule? It's going to be a lot harder, man. We talked about that. You and I both had them as a team to watch out to fall down next year.
Yeah, we did. So, and on the note of falling down, so I got 7 coaches that I think are on the hot seat, and a couple of them are the same from my list from a few weeks ago. And I kind of agree with Savage. I don't think Seattle and England are going to make it back, but we've seen stranger things. So I got 7 coaches right now that I think they're going to be on the hot seat, and one of them will probably surprise you. So got Dan Quinn from the Commanders, Nick Sirianni for the Eagles, Kevin O'Connell for the Vikings, Matt LaFleur from the Packers, Aaron Glenn with the Jets, Zach Taylor, which you probably saw that one coming, with the Bengals, and another coach that I think may be on the hot seat, especially if some of the decisions continue to go the way that they did this past season. And I hate to say it because I love the guy, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to say maybe his seat's not hot, but it'll probably get a little warm, and that's one Motor City Dan Campbell.
Really? You think so, huh? That's interesting.
I do. Right. I think it's kind of like, again, you being an NBA guy, remember when the Pistons kept going to the Eastern Conference Finals with Rick Carlisle? And then they couldn't get over the hump, so they brought in Larry Brown. They bring in Larry Brown, they win a championship. I'm thinking it's starting to get to the point where you're asking the question, is Dan Campbell that guy to get you over the hump? Or do you need somebody else to come in and kind of, okay, he can get us to the 10-yard line, but who can push us in, and get that scoring and get that championship? And we'll see. But I'm not saying he's hot, but I'm saying I could potentially start, people start to turn on him a little bit as the season goes.
That's going to be
especially if they don't get off to a good start.
That's going to be a hard sell to the locker room, wanting to get rid of Dan Campbell if that's where it comes from. If they talk to any players, in their opinion, they're not going to want to get rid of him. That'll be interesting. What does Real Savage have to say? If he's a Lions fan, he'd want a different quarterback before a different coach.
Who are you going to get?
What do you think about that?
I'll ask you the same thing that I tell Lions fans when they throw that in my face all the time. It's not Goff as choke artist. Every quarterback had a bad game, lad. Everybody from Matthew Stafford to Josh Allen, they had multiple interception games. They had Josh Allen. If you can get to the Super Bowl with Drake May, if you can win a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold, Jared Goff can win a Super Bowl. Your defense let you down. You had 2 new coordinators, and your offensive line looked like the Giants' offensive lines that we've seen for the last 15 years. So I don't want to go on a tangent, but he doesn't choke. He's not a choke artist. He's one of those quarterbacks that kind of need a semi-perfect storm around him. And you can win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. You can win a Super Bowl.
All right. Yeah, he's going back to that Super Bowl that we were just talking about in your trivia question. Only put up 3 points. Yeah, the Patriots only put up 13. That was just a garbage Super Bowl to begin with. That's all. But all right, the Goff is always an interesting.
No, it's thing. Not Savage. To answer your question, 3 points. There's a lot of you played a good defense. Number one, and football is the ultimate team game. So maybe Jared Goff, if you want to tell me that Jared Goff can't carry a team to a Super Bowl, I'll be with you 150%. But if you're telling me that you can absolutely not win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff, I'll fight you every step of the way. So
no, I actually agree with you. I think you can. If Detroit was, obviously more healthy this year, no doubt about that. Who knows what could have happened. But yeah, when you go down your OC and your DC in the same year, you expect to fall off. And yeah, that's where Dan Campbell had to step up and start calling plays and everything. And the team wasn't the same this year. But if they can get stabilized, Detroit, Yeah, they still got weapons, and they got Goff, who I trust him now more than I ever have, even though they didn't even get to the playoffs this year. He's still a good quarterback. So Detroit, they'll be a team to look for next year for them to hop back into that tournament of 7 over there in the NFC. We'll see if they can do it. We'll see.
But yeah, of the coaches,
yeah,
of the coaches, who do you think is on? Who's going into next season with the hottest seat?
With the hottest seat, Aaron Glenn's seat's really hot. Zach Taylor's seat is burning.
Is there a
Dan
seat left
Quinn's,
with him? Is he just sitting on ashes right now?
Oh my God, really? Zach Taylor. I wouldn't put Kevin O'Connell on this list. I think that he's fine. And I know that there's been a lot of whisperings about Matt LaFleur, but I don't really understand that. He's been a really good coach for a while. I know they were a little bit off this year, but to me, he's done a pretty good job. They're perennial playoff team. So I wouldn't put him in there, but Zach Taylor, he's got to be the number one guy, man, because how many times are you going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, oh, well, Joe Burrow missed this amount of time, or T. Higgins wasn't around for this amount of time, or we had a really bad defense. Let us give time to figure it out. No, you're the head coach of the freaking football team, and you're not making the playoffs. You're not getting the best out of your players. Zach Taylor, this has got to be it for you, man. If your team doesn't get to the playoffs and at least win one freaking game, you got to go, bro.
Exactly. I agree. And Savage agrees with both of us with the hottest seat being Zach Taylor. I'd probably say Dan Quinn is a second. I'd probably still have Nick Sirianni in my top 3 simply because how many times can you avoid avoid repercussions for the dysfunction that has taken place over the last few years towards the middle and end of the season with this team. So,
but speak about dysfunction with the Eagles. This is going to be their 5th different coordinator in 5 years. You got to have some stability with this thing here, man.
And that's why too. That's why I'm not a Jalen Hurts fan by any stretch, but that's why I give that guy props for him to still be good. Going through what he's going through, and he's going on. Well, this will be his 5th. Yeah, this will be his 5th.
His 5th
offensive coordinator in the last 5 years. So, props to Jalen Hurts. That guy, the mental capacity that it takes to be able to absorb all these different playbooks and schemes, and stuff like that. Big props to Jalen Hurts. Just wanted to get that out.
It's funny though. On the other side, a lot of people talking about him like he's not a locker room guy. He's not, a rah-rah guy. He's not not one of us, type of things. Not.
They said the same thing about Russ. You know what? But he's winning games, so I don't have to be. You don't have to like me. Just respect.
You really don't. Yeah, right. Just respect my game, and I'll do the same for you, man. Oh, unbelievable.
Oh well, yeah, he's stuff. Right. It is his 7th.
What?
Offensive coordinator. Is it
the 7th?
No, I thought he's been in the league 6 years. Well, yeah, it might be.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now, but yeah, Savage list the. Oh, well, yeah, because he played two different systems. He played
Oklahoma and college. Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's had a different. Yeah, he's had a different. He's had a different offensive coordinator every year for his last 3 years of college, 2 years of college, and his first X amount of years in the pro. So
he knows how to adapt, man. He knows how to adapt. No,
he's definitely not Cam Newton. I hate Cam Newton, but anyway.
I'm not a fan either. I got to be honest with you. I'm really not a fan of his. I don't like his whole shtick. I think he looks ridiculous in that hat. I feel like he should get an umbrella and like Mary Poppins it out of there or something like that, man. Just no good. No good. Just fly away.
Oh, not Mary Poppins. Oh, my Lord. Cam is a clown. I agree 100%. If he was as good as he talks, he'd probably still be in the league.
Yeah, right. Jeez. Cam is a clown.
One good season.
Gosh.
So, yeah. 17 for 31 for 146 yards. That was his average stat line. Cam not diving on, man, everybody still talks about that. Not diving on the football in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That was a business decision. Way to bring that up, Savage. Great point, my brother. Great point. So, but yeah, that's our near that ball. That's the Power 32 coaching hot seat. So thanks for playing.
All right. Well, we did our deal. We always do it in about $1.15. That's where we're at today. We appreciate you guys. Real Savage, always, man. McNiner. We had a lot of people in here listening. Only a couple into the chat, and that's fine, man. We keep the show going. We keep it flowing. We love it. We'll be back next Tuesday. we're gonna have stuff to talk about, man. Look, we got the draft, we got free agency, we're gonna
Combine.
be doing rankings,
Combine. Yes, sir.
different trades that are gonna go on. The NFL season is alive all year long, and we're gonna keep that heartbeat thumping over here on Power 32. So if you love the NFL, you love football, subscribe, click that button over there, like it, whatever the hell, man. Just click all those good little buttons and check us out every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern.
There you go. Tell your friends about us. And yeah, we as the off season rolls on, the Power 32 podcast rolls on. So make sure you tell your friends. We're on social media. We're on Twitter. We're gonna get some things going. We're gonna come back bigger and better than ever. So just keep it going. We had a lot of views last week. So let's kind of keep that momentum going. Much love and respect as always, my brother Savage. We love you, man. Keep it up. Keep it up.
We appreciate you, bro.
But yeah, so.
Savage,
spread the word. Spread the gospel of the Power 32 podcast.
Yeah, well, I'm glad Savage got the memo over there because he has definitely become part of the show, bro. We appreciate you, man. Always chiming in. Great stuff, bro. We appreciate your time. Absolutely. Speaking of time, it's up prime time. We're time to get out of here. I got to go walk the dog, baby, and wake up early. You know all about that. You, my friend, feel better. I hope that the next time that we speak, you don't have so much snot flopping in your nose. I can hear you okay.
McNiner, I still need you to send me your address too, so I can DoorDash you that steak dinner that I owe you. So send me something in the email or something like that. I'll fill up. But yeah, I'm a man of my word now. I owe you a steak dinner. So
get that dinner, bro.
But man. Hopefully I'll feel better. Hopefully your headache goes away, and we'll see everybody next week.
Headache's gone. We talked football for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm cured, my friend. I'm good to go now.
That's funny.
All right. Thank you, boys and girls, children of all ages. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.